everyone, I'm Kimberly from Dirt Floor Fibers, and thanks for joining me for my next big project, which admittedly is going to be a little bit different from usual, but I'm really excited. In my head, I have been calling this my mission crap room to craft room, but really what I'm doing is I'm embarking on a huge reorganization of all of my creative spaces. A couple of reasons why I'm doing this video, and it's actually going to be a series because it's probably going to take me a couple of weeks to get it all finished. But first, I really want to be able to keep myself accountable and to see my progress along the way to help keep me motivated. This has been something that I've been planning on doing for about 3.5 years, and it just has never gotten done. But the other reason is that I'm really hoping that I can motivate some other people out there who have been hoping to reorganize their own creative spaces and for whatever reason just hadn't gotten around to it yet. Maybe it's too overwhelming, or you feel like you never have the time or the money or the motivation to get it done. This video is for you as well. So the first step in any reorganization process is to first admit that there's a problem. So here's where my problem comes in. And guys, I have a problem. I am not even kidding. So I bought and moved into this house about 3.5 years ago. And this was actually my dream house. When I was looking for a place to live, I had driven through this neighborhood dozens of times, looked at the houses that were available. And whenever I drove past this house, I was like, yes, this would be my dream house. If I could pick any house to live in, it would be this one. And then all of a sudden it came on the market. I snatched it up, was really excited. It's the front part of it's an old farmhouse from the 1880s, and then it's been expanded onto a couple of times over the years. And it's just been a really amazing place to live. But here's the problem. So the woman who lived here before me had a lot of stuff. Now trust me, I'm not judging. I have a lot of stuff too. But that's what started the whole problem. So the morning that I signed the papers on the house, I got to the house after I was finished at the lawyer's, got here and found the woman's moving truck still parked out front, halfway loaded. She had so much stuff that either the movers couldn't pack all of it the night before like they were supposed to, or she didn't get a chance to pack, but whatever it was, they weren't ready to go. I only had like 3 days. My parents were going to be in town to help me pack my apartment up and get the house cleaned up so I could move. I only had like 3 days. So the fact that she was not out of the house on time put me behind. And then her cleaning lady came in, and all the cleaning lady had was a broom and a pack of like wet wipes. And she just ran over some counters, swept up the dust from where the couch had been, and that was it. The house was absolutely filthy. And so my parents and I cleaned for 3 days straight. We basically managed to get the first floor livable, the bathroom and the guest room upstairs, and that's it. And so my rooms that were going to be used for like an office and a craft room never got cleaned. They never got the renovation they needed, and it wasn't set up the way I wanted it to. So then I started my packing process, and because we spent so much time cleaning the house, I never got a chance to actually pack up my apartment. So my movers arrived, they took all my furniture, my boxes, but I had so much stuff that was still left in my apartment that I hadn't packed. So I then rented myself a U-Haul van, grabbed some boxes that had been moved to the house, dumped them out, brought them back to my apartment, and just started chucking stuff in, filling them up. I didn't get a chance to organize. I didn't get a chance to curate my belongings and maybe do some purging like I had planned. I just had to toss everything in boxes. And then because I didn't have enough time, I'm doing this pretty much in the middle of the night between jobs. I would take those boxes back here to the house, run them upstairs to the rooms that weren't cleaned, weren't finished, and just dump the stuff out on the floor. Took the boxes back to my apartment and repeated the process. After a while, I started to get really nervous. And I'm like, I'm filling up these rooms with unorganized stuff. I haven't cleaned, I haven't renovated, it's not the way I want it to be. I'm just gonna finish putting all of my stuff in the garage. If I keep putting it upstairs, I'm going to have to move it all out anyway, to go paint, to move furniture around, to organize it the way I wanted to. I'll just put it in the garage. It's gonna be faster. I'll, be able to carry it in when I'm ready for it. It'll work out great. Unfortunately, it started to rain, and it rained for like 2 or 3 months straight with hardly any time where you could dry anything out, and my garage basically flooded. All the stuff that I had stored in my garage got wet. When it got wet, I couldn't pick up the boxes because the bottoms were falling out and more stuff was falling into the water. Crickets, roly-polies, all kinds of little water bugs moved into the garage. And then it turned hot and all of my stuff started to mold. It was absolutely horrible. I was devastated. I kind of scraped off the top layer of stuff, brought it in the house, tried to get it dried, but it just didn't work. So I eventually got myself a dumpster and pretty much tossed everything that had been in the garage and had started to mold and got wet. It was bad. I did manage to get rid of a lot of stuff, but I kind of wish that I had been able to choose what I had gotten rid of. I lost all of my pictures. I lost a bunch of books. A lot of things that were really important to me and I wanted to save ended up going in the dumpster along with extra stuff. So that was really devastating, but it kind of, on the one hand, taught me a little bit of the lesson that I needed to get this taken care of, but at the same time, it also, I don't want to say it made me depressed, but I was also kind of discouraged that this had happened, and if I had just done it sooner, this wouldn't have happened, so I beat myself up a little bit about it. So I kind of put everything off, went into some boxes and got stuff that I needed over the years, but it's always been a really big pain because there's things that I know that I have that I wanted to get to, but I couldn't. So some things I bought duplicates of, and now I know I have more than one floating around the house. It's just been absolutely horrible. And so now that I've been starting up Dirt Floor Fibers, I've needed a place to run my business out of. So my one room that was gonna be my craft room had been a little bit emptier, started to become my fiber storage room, and I had kind of organized it, taken some things out that I didn't need, moved all of my fiber related stuff into here, but it never really got organized. Because my plan was still to fix up the closets the way I wanted to paint all the walls, maybe refinish the floor. And so I never wanted to make it perfect. The perfectionist in me didn't want to start until I knew I could get it right. But over the time, it just started building up. And so, I can't find things in here. I can't find things in my kind of, what's a storage room right now. Boxes of undyed yarns have been building up in the kitchen because, that's where I do all my dyeing, and it just wasn't practical to put it up here and lose the stuff and then carry back to, anyways, it's been horrible. I have a problem. It needs to get taken care of now. It's now or never. So long story short, that's my problem. Now I have to do something about it. So step 2 in the process is to figure out what you want from your space. My goal for this reorganization is to turn my 2 rooms into something really efficient, really functional, something that every single item has a place. If I need some knitting needles, I have one location that I can go to and find what I need. If there's, I want to order some more of my base yarns for dyeing, I want to be able to go to one place and see exactly what I have left so I know what I need to order. I want to be able to take out a bag of fiber, do some spinning, and then know where that bag of fiber goes when I'm all finished with it. So I want to have something where everything has its place and is really easily accessible. The other part that I want is to not spend any money on this organization. So I've spent a lot of time over the last 3 years looking at craft room renovations and people who have kind of Marie Kondo'd their craft supplies, which I'm gonna kind of do that as well, to see what they've done. But the problem is a lot of these people, I felt like they already had a really pretty polished space, and so reorganizing it just made it look, beautiful. Or they spent hundreds or even thousands of dollars to make their room look fantastic the way they wanted it to be. And I don't really have time for either one of those. The reason why I've been putting off doing this, well, one of the reasons was because I wanted to renovate and make it pretty, but I just hadn't had the time. So I can't wait for that anymore. And as much as I love my house, I love the house, neighborhood's great. My problem is it's just too much house for me. It's not a huge house, but it's huge by my standards. I mean, I have a room that I can have for my craft room and an office, and I still have extra rooms. And so my dream of having some land with sheep in a tiny house has kind of come back into the forefront as of late. And so I don't want to spend a lot of money to trick out a craft room and in a couple years down the line, move into a smaller space where I can't take any of those things with me. So I really want to do this on the cheap as well. So of course, you have to see what it is that I'm working with. I'm going to show you a couple of different spaces. And just to kind of show you, like, I'm serious, this is like a horrible mess and it's just not working. Please don't judge, but I'm going to show you around. So the room is absolutely fabulous. It has this great French door coming into it. You can actually see my ladder from across the hall. I've been repainting this room over here for like 8 months and I'm still not finished. I'm telling you, I'm horrible at this renovation stuff. But I have, you know, some things that are left over. I teach middle school, and so I've got teacher stuff over here. I've got, you know, my warping board for when I'm weaving. I've got boxes of fleeces. There's a bag that's a fleece in it. Boxes of fiber. I've got this great shelf that I bought at IKEA. That's filled with some of my nicer yarns that are just awaiting to go into projects. This room does have 3 closets. These two had kind of those Rubbermaid shelves like you see over here that go on the tracks in the wall and you can move them around. But they're really not very sturdy. I don't know if they were installed incorrectly or if they had just had so much stuff sitting on them over the years that I didn't like them. So I pulled them all out, figured I would put in my own shelves. I haven't yet. We'll see what we're going to do. But I do have those 3 big closets to work with. My light ring needs to go away. I bought it off of Amazon and I was so excited about it. And then I used it twice. The third time I went to use it, I plugged it in and the light bulb popped and started smoking. And I just, again, was putting stuff off, so I never got a chance to try to return it or anything. So I'm out of time for all of that. So that just needs to go away. I just got my new triangle loom, which is a continuous warping loom, which I'm really excited to show you how that works as soon as I get it up and running. But you can see how big it is. And I just don't have room to have it set out and still be able to move around the space. So I really want to have a dedicated corner for that to live in. I've got this fabulous table. Again, I keep moving around all my fibers. When I want to find something, I put it out on the table, but I don't want all the sunlight shining on it, so then I have to close it up and take it back off. Bags of fleeces and fiber on the floor, my stool, and then this is also a great IKEA find over here. I painted it and then put on different hardware. Right now it's holding linens, like extra towels and sheets and stuff, but I really want to put it together in such a way that maybe my nicer yarns or my packaging supplies or something like that are living inside of here. But so you can see, this is what the room looks like, 3 nice big windows. And so I've got a great space to work with, even though it doesn't, you know, the wall color is not my cup of tea, and it needs a little fixing up, but it's not bad. So this is one of the spaces that's going to get reorganized. And then let me take you down my hallway. Hope I don't fall down here. My the back addition to the house actually has a little step up, and so you always have to be really careful moving around. That's Ivan. Say hi, Ivan. Excuse me, dog. Let me get into my room. So this is my storage room where I had just started dumping stuff on the floor. Excuse me, Ivan, can you go back outside? Thank you so much. No, go back. Back. Sorry, guys. Dog's really super excited because he never gets to go in here. And you can see that it's all just piled everywhere. I can't find anything, I can't get to anything. You can see where I flipped up the pad that's on the table so I could do some cutting of fabric. I had tried to reorganize this corner, started putting all my office supplies on it. I have fleeces that are being stored in here as well. And it's a small room, it needs a lot of work. The floor in here is really neat. It's actually the original floor from the 1880s. And so I'd love to be able to get that cleaned up and really showcased. So this is the other room that I'm working with that I'm hoping to get all set up. So that's step one of the process. Admit you have a problem. I have a problem. Come up with a plan. I think I have a plan. And then go ahead and get started. So I will do a little bit more work and I'll check in with you to show you what I've done next.